We are live in Berkeley, California at City Hall for a protest asking the city to divest funds from animal agriculture. We have been emailing and calling and sending postcards to these legislators in city council, and we have been repeatedly ignored. And so today we're escalating this campaign, protesting at City Hall, and we'll be going from here to the home of the mayor of Berkeley, Jesse Arreguín, somewhere we know he cannot ignore us, to continue our campaign. Hi everybody, it's Cassie here in Berkeley. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll show you all these activists behind me, covering the steps of City Hall, asking the city to divest city funds, taxpayer dollars, our money, from the animal agriculture industry, which is torturing animals, spreading diseases, sickening workers in slaughterhouses and in farms, and just polluting our environment. And now we've got a surprise guest here who's interrupting the show.
The mayor will talk to you all in just a minute, okay? Take a breath, let's calm down. The mayor is doing some important work right now. The mayor, I don't know if you guys are all familiar with the World of Warcraft. The mayor is to help all night, and there's a lot. You should all really check out his work. It's username KingSlayer94704. I think you would find it very impressive. So, these folks I'm getting are, a little premature. But anyway, his guild is going to finish up with their raids. We're going to be out here in just a minute, so please just calm down. We'll be right back with you.
So apparently the mayor is going to be coming out to speak with us. Stay tuned for that, folks, because we haven't been able to get a conversation with the mayor in months and months of reaching out. So it'll be interesting to see who actually comes out to greet us, to speak with us. So if you're just joining us, we are at City Hall in Berkeley, California, and you can see activists holding signs saying divest from animal ag, because that is our ask today, as it has been for a long time. We've successfully campaigned in San Francisco to pass a good food ordinance. The city of San Francisco divested city funds from animal agriculture, 15% in city hospitals. There's 2 public hospitals that diverted 15% of the funds they were spending on animal products to plant-based products, and 50% in city jails. So 50% of the money that was being spent on animal products in public jails in San Francisco went instead to plant-based products. So while that wasn't full divestment, that was a major step. And we are asking Berkeley to follow suit and to take it up a notch and to divest completely from animal cruelty. There is no reason to be funding this industry with city taxpayer dollars. We're asking them to divest 100% from animal agriculture, and we need your help to make it happen. So please share this live stream if you haven't shared yet, for all of the animals whose bodies are being purchased by the city of Berkeley. We can change that. We can divest so much money, so much more than just the money that we individually spend with our own consumer purchases. If we can get an entire city and multiple cities to follow suit, and eventually an entire state like the state of California to divest city funds from animal agriculture. So please share this live stream, and we are going to be continuing this action today, marching from City Hall to the home of Berkeley Mayor Jesse Arreguín, who has repeatedly ignored our complaints, ignored our concerns when we've spoken up on his live streams, when we have emailed and called and requested a conversation about this divestment bill. And, if we can't get a city council person to introduce it right away, one route that we can go is to get a commission to introduce divestment. And we've had luck with that in the past. If you don't remember, if you're not familiar with DXE's work over the past few years, which is a lot to keep track of for sure, we have a lot of campaigns, we passed a right to rescue resolution in the city of Berkeley that started and was introduced in a commission, the Peace and Justice Commission. And so, I remember being there in the commission meeting of the Peace and Justice Commission, and they introduced this bill, and then they passed it along, or I should say resolution, it's not really a bill. And they passed it along to the city of Berkeley. And that's what, got the ball rolling and got the city of Berkeley, the city council members, to unanimously vote on supporting myself and others who are facing felony charges and misdemeanor charges for rescuing animals and helping expose animal cruelty. So we've seen this start in a commission and spread to the entire city council before, and that's a possibility with the divestment of city funds from animal agriculture. We have folks in the Animal Welfare Commission in the city of Berkeley who are meeting this coming month in February to discuss this potential introduction, and if they would pass it, they would pass it on to the city council, where the city council would discuss it. So there's a lot of steps, you know, with the California fur ban, which was one of our biggest legislative initiatives in DXC, something we spent hundreds of hours on, and we went to several different votes in the Assembly and the Senate and the final full vote. There was a lot of stages. There's a lot of people who need to be convinced. There's a lot to the process of getting legislation introduced. So it takes a lot of work, and you know, we've been working on divestment for a while, and it doesn't happen overnight. But we keep on trying new things. We send postcards, we send emails, we send phone calls, we send an email to our mailing list, or make a social media post to reach all of you to ask you for your help. And it makes a big difference when the city of Berkeley sees that not only residents are concerned about this industry, but people around the state and around the world are reaching out and saying, we want Berkeley to lead the way. We know that we can do better as a population, as the human population, and we want you to lead the way and set an example that others can follow. And that's what happened with the fur ban. Berkeley passed the fur ban, and then San Francisco passed the fur ban the next year. And then the state of California banned the sale of fur and fur farming the following year. So these things do have a ripple effect. They have a domino effect. And I'm seeing support from Gino in San Diego. Thank you, Gino. And a lot of folks, Gene saying, welcome to a world without suffering. That's a beautiful vision. And, you know, suffering to some degree is natural. I think even in my vision of a beautiful world post-animal liberation, where we've achieved justice for so many vulnerable populations, we're probably all going to still suffer in some ways, but we're going to be there to help each other. We're not going to inflict that suffering on each other. We're going to be there to help one another. And that's the vision that, you know, keeps me going. That's a beautiful vision. So thanks to everybody who's supporting. Thanks to everybody who is sharing, especially. It just takes a click on your end and it makes a huge difference for us. We're able to reach a lot more people, and we're able to show the Berkeley City Council members when we meet with them, and we've been trying to get this issue, bring it to their attention, to show them that it's not just this group of people who cares, it's a lot of people.
We're going to keep this civil. Can we clear out a space and show a little respect? This is the mayor of Berkeley here, for Christ's sakes. Come on, let's have a conversation. Hold your divest, whatever the terrorist thing is on what you got there. All right, just hold on one second.
First and foremost, clear out the stage, please. I need any of you guys out here. Some of you don't have shoes on. What's going on with that? So I'm here to take a couple of questions, because I guess you guys are genuinely concerned. You guys have any questions for me? Divesting from animal agriculture. Look, we eat animals. We've always ate animals. That's just the way it is. Yes, we know. Hold on now. Yes, we know that science backs a plant-based diet, and we can live and thrive off of that. But that does not help my short-term profits. Yes, that's good for the long haul and for everyone on the planet, but I won't be around, so next question.
What are your thoughts on
Can we, you know, this, did you see what's right up here, okay? Now, this is some good looking stuff here. And it's like I don't even think y'all even took the time to appreciate the words that are written here. And in fact, I want to draw, we have the word bold, we put in bold print, which I thought was, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, how many people even took a second to notice that? Raise your hands. Raise your domestic terrorist hands if you noticed that the bold was in bold. Oh, we got a thumbs down. Yeah, you weren't paying attention. All right, so bold, progressive leadership. And now he had to quit. I don't even think he got done with the guild, the raid. You canceled the whole damn thing. Up all night on World of Warcraft, he canceled his guild. He takes time out of his day, and then he has to deal with this. All right. What's is that the Jen Jimson fella?
This is for Mayor Jesse.
Yeah.
You were talking about divestment, and in 2019, you signed a resolution.
Oh, I got this one. Wait a second. I don't know if we can hear this.
Jesse, in 2019, you signed a resolution condemning prosecutions in Sonoma County against activists. And you said that we should drop these charges against these activists for doing the right thing and rescuing animals from places of abuse and violence. But then during your campaign here in 2020 for re-election, you condemned these activists and said that they were bad people and causing division. So isn't this some hypocrisy? Well, what's with the flip-flopping here?
All right, I'm gonna take this one. And I'll further say, did you guys see? This is the word sustainable, which is good too. The word sustainable. I had to scroll through, and then so when you're changing fonts, and some of them show up a lot bigger, and some of them show up a lot smaller, you have to I had to change it into landscape to print this off. So I found the print that I thought was very woodsy. And I was gonna try to print it in green to match with sustainable. We ran out of ink, okay, and I didn't have time. It's been a busy day, and so anyways, yeah, we passed that resolution, and I don't even remember what he said, but I think, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, I think. Sir, you were trying to say something else here? Was there another thing we got?
No, I want to know what's with the hypocrisy, supporting the activists and then denouncing.
Hypocrisy, is that like with when you have like a triangle and there's like the three sides of a triangle, the hypocrisy? I don't know what the math has to do with any of this. I think they're just trying to waste our time right now.
You're wasting our
so
time.
first and foremost, we have words, okay? Words mean a lot. Words are very, very important. But action. Let's talk about action. I can't see right now, right? We're all in compliance with what's going on, and I'm trying to address the crowd, but you guys are not giving me any questions that I can answer. Any other questions out there? What's your question?
What's your thought on Delta Airlines addressing climate change by 2030 and Berkeley by 2050?
Well, hold on. So I have my staffer rerun the numbers, and what happened was, hold on, come on guys, let's tighten it up. All right, so we ran the numbers, and my staffer forgot to carry the one, so we went from 2050 to 2030. Boom! Thank goodness I double checked the numbers. Give me another question. These are too easy.
Wait. This freaking fella, he's got a camera in front of him and he just has to show off for TikTok.
But there's carbon neutrality by 2030. Some are saying these are empty promises, and you're avoiding any kind of specific plan. What are the specific changes that have actually been made? Come on, Jesse, help us out.
What a dumb question. All right, what has specifically been changed? If you can't see very clearly, that used to be a 5, okay? And I'm going to explain. I'll walk you through the process specifically how that happened. Because I did get up early this morning. I didn't get that much sleep, and I went into a Google Doc. This was another one in landscape. It can be a little confusing. Sometimes you have to set the page set to landscape. They have to go to print it in landscape. You have to waste. Look at we ran out of ink. Okay, this would have been a lot nicer if it was green. Okay, so there's a lot of hardship that went into this. And what you do, you click here because there used to be a 5. You hit the delete, and you hit the 3, and that is specifically what we did to get Berkeley to 2030 policy for carbon neutrality. All right, amen. Okay.
What's the specific plan? That's not a plan.
Oh, yes. Specifically, it was the click and then the delete, and that was specifically how we made it happen. So, all right, but we're going to move on. We're going to move on here. I think these people are never, what are the words that are going to make these people happy? Let's look for the next question.
We want to hear from Jesse.
Mr. Mayor, while we were talking about numbers, I know that in this last campaign, you received $13,000 in donations. We want to know, where exactly did that money come from?
All right. Well, first and foremost, my finances are my finances. I know that I'm a... Yeah, please. I know that I'm a elected city council member, but I do not need to disclose where this money came from. This money will flow however it needs to flow through the organization, and that's what we're going to do. Any other questions out there?
Transparency.
Yeah, no, that word's not on here. Well, that word's not on here. If it's not on here, it doesn't exist. What's another question? Any other questions? Or I'm going to...
Real quick here. Jesse Bear here, I will tell you, and I don't like the implication, okay? It's said on his tax, his form, if you go to the back, if you scroll down and you go to the end, it said that it came from him, it was self-funding, and I really don't appreciate this implication that it was not his money, and people are saying, oh, we know him, we know people who know him personally, and he doesn't have anywhere near that kind of money in the bank. And as somebody who spent some time at this man's house, okay, I was there over the weekend, when you have people come over, there's a LARPing festival, they stay on the couch. Those couch cushions are a gold mine. Now, that's just called being resourceful and leadership, and I think we can see those pennies and those nickels, once you kind of dig through the crumbs and everything, they really add up. All right, next question.
Yeah, you guys need to tighten it up. I'm looking rough. What's the next question? Let's go. We don't have all day.
And can we refer to him as Jesse Bear?
Please.
Kind of torn around here.
Don't forget the mayor. Mayor Jesse Bear. Next question. What do you got? What do you got? You want the mic? Go ahead, please.
What did you do while all the Black Lives Matter protests were going on all over the world? And how did you address this issue or show solidarity?
Oh, we got this. We got this.
Oh, I got this one. So we took a lot of time. It was a lot of thought, right? We put a lot of thought behind it. I can't do much without him. So, first and foremost, guess what we did? You guys want to know? We made solid lawn signs. Boom! Goes the dynamite. Come on, lawn signs. Right here. What else you got? That was too easy. Any other questions out there? Any other questions? Oh, here we go. We got a question.
Here we go.
What are you doing about the homelessness problem in Berkeley?
Oh, no, come on.
The homeless problem. Well, everyone, I'm going to do 3 things. 1, I'm going to arrest them. 2, I'm going to... let me finish. I'm only on 1. Let me get to 2. 2, I'm going to find them. And, whoa, wait till number 3. Number 3 might win you over. I will put them all in jail. All right? That's how I am. I'm tough. I'm tough on the houselessness issue out here. What else? These are too easy. What else you got? Yeah, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, my question is, what about direct action everywhere?
Wait, here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What about direct action everywhere and the right to rescue animals in factory farms who need medical attention?
Yeah, I'm just going through my notes here. So the question was about the right to rescue. Well, look, I like and supported what DXC was doing. But once I found out Wayne was running for mayor and trying to make some real positive change in here.
So your cue will be when he says that.
Yeah. Where's he at? Is he with you guys? Anyways, once I saw him trying to make real adjustments, I wanted to separate myself from all those hippies trying to fight for freedom, justice, equality for everybody. I want nothing to do with that. Better yet, we want nothing to do with that, right?
Like, if we sit up here, these people are rescuing dying animals and they just keep going. How many dying animals are going to be rescued? If we just let this run rampant, how many times is that going to happen? All right, this is chaos, and this is not going to stand in the city. All right. What else?
Someone on the live stream said he's too well dressed to be the actual mayor.
Oh, well, here we go again.
Well, first I was debuting my new World of Warcraft name. So I had to kind of show up a little bit.
Jesse, I've been a Berkeley resident for the last few years, and I want to say a few things to you. With great power comes great responsibility, and you have been incredibly irresponsible. I want to speak up for the most vulnerable beings on this planet in this city, and I want to ask you, how dare you? How dare you become a leader, call yourself a leader of one of the most progressive cities in the world without addressing the housing crisis, without addressing what's happening to animals inside of factory farms, and using deceit to win the mayoral election. I canvassed on hundreds of doors campaigning for Wayne Chung, someone who's put his body on the line for the most vulnerable beings on this planet. What have you done, Jesse? I talked to people who called you the Trump of Berkeley. That's who we have for mayor here, the Trump of Berkeley. That's what they told me. They said, you know what these people in Berkeley said to me? They said that they believed you were going to do something for them, but you did nothing. And guess how you won? You won by using deceit and corporate power and getting one of the major newspapers in Berkeley, which is, by the way, also corporate funded, to call people who are fighting to protect life on Earth terrorists. How dare you, Jesse? The future of this city and this world belongs to those who are willing to fight for justice, for liberation, not to those who hide from the truth like you're hiding right now, Jesse. And if you have any ounce of dignity left, come back here and help us make this city a better place by doing the very least you can do. Divesting from an industry called animal agriculture that is destroying life on Earth. Folks, the mayor of Berkeley is telling us that he cares about preventing the next pandemic, while whistleblowers have been knocking on these doors for years, telling him about how we found the next pandemic brewing inside of factory farms. We've had these doors shut in our faces, time and time again, and it's enough. It's enough. So come out here, Jesse, let's have a conversation. Show us your face and take some action if you have any respect and really care about this city. Thank you. So if he won't take action, which we know he won't, because
so we're not done, folks. Stay with us because we're going to the mayor's home and we're going to continue speaking out, demanding a response.
We fight for what's right. So we're going to take action by marching for liberation. So join me. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? Are we going to fight for it?
So we're at City Hall in Berkeley and we're going to be marching now the short distance to the mayor's home, Mayor Jesse Arreguín, and trying to speak from outside his house to really bring this issue home to him. That we're aware that he's ignoring this. We're aware of the mistakes that he's making and we're not going to take it. And we're going to keep taking direct action and escalating this campaign until we get a response from the elected leaders in the city of Berkeley who should be addressing the biggest issues and crises that we're facing today and who instead are either doing nothing and completely ignoring the issue or who are actually moving us in the opposite direction and funding animal agriculture with city taxpayer dollars, arresting houseless people instead of helping them, moving us in the opposite direction. Mayor Jesse Arreguín actually banned RVs in the city of Berkeley. Some people who were living in their RVs at the time became houseless because of that or had to leave their homes in Berkeley and move to another city abruptly. He has run on a progressive platform, but he's done so many things that have let the people down who actually supported him. People who wanted him to be a progressive leader in this progressive city and were disappointed by what they saw instead. So if you want to help us reach the city with this message and show them our disappointment and our frustration and our passion and our need for change, please share this live stream. Please follow us as we continue to Jesse's house, where we're going to be bringing this message right to its home. You know, people aren't in the city hall right now, and we've actually heard from someone inside city council that they're not checking their mailboxes. So it's incredibly hard to reach them right now during the pandemic. They're not even checking their mailboxes. They're overflowing with letters, with postcards, with things that many Berkeley residents and many DXC activists have sent them, and that's unacceptable. We need a response from our publicly elected city servants. So we're going to be continuing to bring this campaign to them however we can, and your support is incredibly helpful. So please share the live stream. And you can use hashtag #NoCashForCruelty, which is the hashtag that we're using with the divestment campaign. Or you can just simply ask them to stop spending money on animal products that we know are cruel. And it's not just the general products that we know. We know some of the places that are supplying to the Berkeley City Council. And we know those specific farms. Some of them we have investigated. We have investigated Diestel Turkey, supposedly this humane turkey farm that in fact has animals crowded together, sick and suffering major injuries, dying and dead animals. Like all these things that we find routinely inside factory farms. And we have video evidence, we have footage, and we're trying to bring this to light, bring it to the attention of the city council members, and ask them to take a step away from this industry. And I see Christina in the UK, I see Paula Lestenberg, I know folks are watching from around the world. And I'm really grateful to all of you for watching from wherever you are and sharing and showing your support. You know, there's a lot of cities that are very progressive around the world. There's a lot of cities that have the opportunity to lead. And in my opinion, Berkeley should be feeling a little competitive about this, and they should want to be the one that's first. And they should want to be the city that's leading the way and to keep their reputation alive. But instead, they're letting that reputation of social justice vanish, and they're instead siding with money, corporations, with the more wealthy folks in Berkeley who are the homeowners who don't change with the times, and the city is becoming more conservative, and that's unacceptable. You know, we need them to be able to change with the time, and that's what progressive means. It means progress, it means change. So in a progressive city like Berkeley, we need our leaders to be progressive too. Marching through downtown Berkeley right now, reaching folks on the street, but most importantly, we want to reach the people who were elected by these folks out here in Berkeley to do their job and to move us in the right direction. And so we're going to the home of Berkeley Mayor Jesse Arvine, and we're going to be politely and non-violently asking him, with the passion that we feel, to please stop subsidies or to stop funding. It's not even a subsidy, it's a direct fund of the animal agriculture industry. And there's so much that we can do as individuals to speak up and to address these issues, but what we need is system change. Someone like Mayor Arvine has so much more power than any one of us to instantly reach the public because of his title, because of his position, and not just the public, but to reach other cities and other people in power, other legislators around California and around the country and around the world, if he were to do something bold and take a stand against the industry, especially at this time in the midst of a pandemic caused by exploiting animals, to show the world that we're going to respond to that by taking a stance away from this industry and removing city funds from it. That would be a powerful move that would send a signal to other leaders around the world that they can do something similar. We've had San Francisco city officials ask us about Berkeley's stance on issues before, because they want to know, does Berkeley support this? Is Berkeley doing it? Before they commit to doing it too. So, you know, city leaders, in my experience, I'm starting to learn city leaders are a lot like high school students. They're a lot like, all of us really, who look around to see what other people are doing in similar positions, and then decide, okay, well, if someone else is doing it, then I can do it too. They don't want to be first. they don't want to be the ones to stick their neck out there and to try to make change happen if they don't know if people are going to support it. But if we can get Berkeley to do something like divestment, then we can show other city leaders around the world that other people support this, that you can do it too. And the way that we get Berkeley to do it is by showing them overwhelming public support, to show them that the people in their city and people around the world want them to make a change and want them to stick up for animals. So, just by joining this live stream and sharing and commenting and tagging your friends and helping us spread the word, you are helping us show them overwhelming public support. Just by giving this video a like, really, it shows them that you like the message and that you want change to happen. So if you're just joining us, we were just at City Hall and now we're marching through downtown Berkeley and we're heading to the home of the mayor to ask him personally at his house to implore him to please do the right thing and to take a stance by divesting city funds from animal agriculture. So the city purchases with taxpayer dollars of city funds animal products for various reasons. One is for public institutions. And Berkeley's a pretty small city, so that's really just like the Berkeley City Jail. And a couple places that they're purchasing food for. And then primarily also would be like Berkeley City Council meetings, so their own staff meetings, their own events where they're purchasing food for, when they're purchasing food for themselves. And that shouldn't be too much to ask, at least to divest city funds and change what they're purchasing. And in fact, one Berkeley City Council member already introduced an initiative called Green Mondays that said the city would not be purchasing animal bodies on Mondays, that they would be not eating quote-unquote meat. And there was a little bit of press around this, that it was an exciting story to some degree that they would take action like that. But as it turns out, and we've heard this from people in the city council themselves, it's not happening. They don't actually practice Green Mondays at all. So even this low-level commitment that they claim to have made, which is clearly not enough, but was a small step in the right direction, they're not even doing that. They couldn't even stick up to that small commitment that they had made. And we know we need more pressure. If we're going to actually get these leaders in power to make change, they're not going to just do it themselves. They might do a small press stunt to get the publicity and to get a pat on the back, but they're not going to actually continue with it if there's no pressure from the public. They're certainly not going to make changes that don't benefit themselves. Or, like I said, stick their neck out there on the line and make a change that is controversial to some members of the public or to corporations, to the status quo. So we need to keep taking action, and that is exactly what we intend to do. We've got, I'm not sure how many people here, dozens of people. I've got to check the attendance later. Good thing we take attendance at all of our actions. But I'll check the attendance later, but we've got dozens of people out here taking action. We have had dozens of people out here in the past protesting the exact same city council to push them on this issue, and they've ignored us, for the most part, but that hasn't stopped us, and in fact more and more people are taking action in response because we're angry to be ignored, and we want to get the public on our side, and we have some members of the public who joined us during this action when we met on campus who jumped in, and we have some high school students from Berkeley High School who actually came out, who write for their local newspaper to cover the action. So just trying to raise awareness and public pressure as much as possible, and all of you sharing and supporting online is a big part of that. And let me know if anybody has any questions. I'm seeing some comments come in here. Barbara, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for sharing, even from Montreal, Canada, because the Berkeley City Council, when we tag them in this post and when we bring it to their attention and share this live stream with them, they're going to see that people all over are asking for them to make change, and that's a lot more pressure than just any group of us in Berkeley can make on our own. Thank you, Emick, for sharing. Kim is asking how long until we reach the mayor's home. You know, it's less than a mile from City Hall, so probably about a 15-minute walk total. Maybe like 7 more minutes or so. Totally guessing. I've never been to the mayor's house before. but this will be a first for me and for most of the folks here. So hopefully you can stick with us a few more minutes until we get there and see what reaction we get when we're there. Patty's saying thank you all DXC. Thank you, Patty, for joining. Thank you everyone who joins us online and supports from far away, because you are a huge support system for everyone here who takes action. I know for myself, the actions that I take are more possible, and the risk I'm taking is something I'm comfortable with because there are so many people who support me and show that support online. And you heard some people talking in that mini press conference at City Hall about a previous resolution that the mayor and the rest of the Berkeley City Council unanimously voted to pass, which was the Right to Rescue resolution in December 2019. And that was a really exciting day for me. I attended that in person, and we were all there in our blue DXC shirts showing support for the Right to Rescue. And when they voted unanimously, it was a really joyful moment for me to feel like my city, the city where I live and the city where I went to UC Berkeley and the city where I've made so many meaningful relationships and tried to really have an impact, and the place that I'm calling my home, would stand behind me and say that what I did, helping animals in factory farms, was the right thing to do. Despite the 8 felony charges that I'm facing and many more misdemeanor charges on top of that, they said that what I did was the right thing to do, and they encouraged the Sonoma County authorities to dismiss the charges or show leniency and to direct that, the effort and the funds that they were putting into prosecuting me to prosecute the animal cruelty. And that definitely had an impact. Our lawyers were very happy about that resolution passing and said it could really shake the case. So to have us go from that moment where I felt so supported by our city to asking them to meet with us to support divestment and literally being ignored, having our phone calls and emails ignored, and hearing that postcards and letters we've sent in the mail aren't even being opened, is frustrating, and it's hurtful, because these are people who are elected and paid a lot of money to function as a body that actually looks out for the members of Berkeley and supports them and helps them, whether that's the folks who are houseless on the street in the midst of a pandemic right now, the folks who are struggling to pay their rent, who are maybe on the brink of becoming houseless, the folks who are experiencing racial injustice from the police, folks who are experiencing any kind of injustice. The city should be taking a stand, should be standing on the right side of history, and should be trying to enact policies that move us in a better direction. And this is such an obvious one. Divesting from animal agriculture in the midst of a pandemic caused by animal exploitation is such an obvious step to take, and yet there's obviously something that's keeping them from taking it. And I think it's just personal preference and concern. I mean, that's why they're not doing the Green Mondays, even though they committed to doing it. It's laziness, in my opinion, to be so lazy that you can't do something you've committed to do because you know it's the right thing. It's not a lack of knowledge, it's laziness. And our public leaders shouldn't be lazy. Sorry, but they shouldn't. So, we're gonna keep taking action to build enough public pressure that it becomes unacceptable for them to shirk off their responsibilities and not care about what's right for the people, for the animals, for the planet, and demand that they do better.
We have just begun to fight.
Emick says Mayor Arreguín is acting like he is clueless that animal exploitation causes pandemics. Yeah, and that's something that maybe a lot of people were unaware of before now, but in the past year we've seen so much growing awareness for the devastation that's wreaked by this industry. We've seen the World Health Organization discussing this threat, and the United Nations. All the experts are talking about this and verifying that the diseases in animal agriculture pose a very serious threat to bringing future pandemics. And even if something doesn't become a pandemic on the level of COVID-19, these diseases very frequently affect human animals as well. Salmonella, coming from eggs, from chickens, and E. coli, in our ground, quote, ground beef, the sicknesses that these animals have and the sicknesses in their feces that gets blended up when they're killed and ground up, that is absolutely routinely being consumed by the humans who buy them. There was a Consumer Reports study done that bought hundreds of packages of dead cows from around the country, and 99% of them had feces in the meat. So, I mean, when animals are being killed and chopped up in a slaughterhouse and it's a messy, bloody, poop-filled process, you can absolutely bet that there's going to be germs and feces and other bodily fluids from those animals in that food. So it's very sickening, not just mentally, picturing it is kind of repulsive and makes you feel sick, but it literally is going to get people sick, and it does. And now new diseases are emerging, and 3 out of 4 new and emerging infectious diseases in humans come from animals, and that's a stat from health agencies trying to warn us, and yet the government is still ignoring those stats. They're ignoring the threat posed by animal agriculture, and it's disturbing. It's disturbing and disheartening because we need them to do better and they're letting us down. But that's why DXC is going inside of these farms, testing for disease, exposing the conditions that we find, getting press coverage like Vice News, which recently reported on our investigation of a California pig farm that found porcine coronavirus, and just raising awareness as much as we can, because we don't want, we can't ignore this issue. We don't want our leaders to ignore what's happening inside these farms to these animals, or the threat that it poses to all of us, Berkeley residents and every person watching this live stream and every person around the world. Whether you buy that feces contaminated E. coli ground meat, or your neighbor does, or someone in another country around the world does, we are all connected on this planet, and if nothing else, that should be one thing that we've learned from COVID-19, that we're all in this together, that we're going to suffer together when we make mistakes and nature takes its recourse. And that's what's happening to us, the way that we've exploited animals and confined them in factory farms and petri dishes where diseases grew so easily. We get affected by that, and it sweeps through the population and it affects everyone. And of course it affects people disproportionately. For one example, the houseless community in Berkeley is affected more so than others who are able to practice the best sanitation that they can in their homes. Uh-oh. This is getting a little sideways. I'm going to see if I can just turn it back on, so hold on. So I can't take it off because I can't get rid of the mic.
You could just unplug it and use the standard.
Okay.
One struggle, one fight!
Human freedom, animal rights!
One struggle, one fight!
Well, hopefully people can still hear me. I just switched microphones because something was glitching out.
Don't fight history life! You face slaughter is life!
No more repression!
Could you hold on to this?
No more repression!
Humane meat is alive!
Animals do not want to die!
Humane flesh is alive!
Animals do not want to die!
Humane milk is alive! Animals want to be with their babies! Animals want to be with their families! Animals have friends! Animals feel pain!
Thank you for sharing, Tina. Thanks everyone who's sharing and commenting and helping us reach more people.
Chickens feel pain. Fish feel pain. It's not food. Hey, hey.
We've got Rocky doing some outreach to Jesse's neighbors over here, giving out some leaflets.
Hey. Ho, ho.
I bet that's pretty uncomfortable for Jesse to have his neighbors hearing about all his failures and hearing concerns from activists who he has ignored time and time again.
Ho, ho. It's not food.
Thank you for watching from Canada, Kels.
It's not meat. Animals' lives are their right. Animals' lives are their right. Stand up! Stand up! Killing is no kindness! I said, killing is no kindness!
It's not food, it's violence!
It looks like the mayor has joined our protest. The mayor's joined our protest. He's been won over.
Animals' lives are their right!
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Freedom for all! Freedom for all!
It's not food!
It's violence!
It's not food!
It's violence!
It's not food!
It's violence!
Their bodies!
Not ours!
Their lives!
Not ours!
Their freedom!
Not ours!
Cows feel pain!
Just like us!
Pigs feel pain!
Just like us!
Chickens feel pain!
Just like us!
All animals deserve to live!
Just like us!
Animals deserve to live!
Just like us!
What do we want? When do we want?
Thank you, Ian. Thank you for watching from the UK.
When do we want?
Yes, Leanne and some other folks are saying best mayor ever. Thank you, Mayor. Well, if Omar really was the mayor, then that would be a better day in Berkeley for sure. But right now, the mayor is continuing to ignore us, and we're going to have to continue to take action. That's how it is sometimes. So talking to his neighbors and bringing the struggle right to his house is one way that we can get more attention and make it more personal for him. We really improvised with our drums today. Scotty over here is using some kitchen utensils. But hey, you know, you can grab whatever you have around and you can make some noise for animals. Whatever you have at home, you can probably find something to make drums and get out there and do a grassroots protest. Even if you're one person, you can do a solo protest. You can find your city hall, you can find, you know, ways to reach your city council members and mayor and ask them to divest from animal agriculture. It's something that's very much in their power because it's their funds that they're contributing or they're controlling how they're spent. You know, well, it's your funds really in your city because it's your taxpayer dollars, and they're spending your money, and you can ask them to do better.
Don't buy the human life! Don't buy the kids being alive! Animals do not want to die! Humane slaughter is a lie! Freedom for all! Justice for animals! Freedom for all! Justice for animals! They feel bad! Just like us! They get scared! Just like us! They have friends! Just like us! They want to live! Just like us! No more oppression! Animal liberation! There's no excuse for animal abuse! There's no excuse!
Do you all want to see a sneak preview of what's coming in the rest of the action? It's kind of a spoiler if I show you, so someone's got to say they want to see the sneak peek or I won't show you.
Killing is no kindness!
So we're here in front of the home of Mayor Jesse Arreguín, and our actions are continuing. You can see activists continuing to hold divest from animal ag signs and to make our message really clear. It should be clear. We've been reaching out about it for months and months with emails, phone calls, postcards, and other protests like this one, and we haven't yet gotten a response. We haven't yet gotten this introduced either, but there is an Animal Welfare Commission meeting happening in February that is going to discuss it. Okay, well, I'm seeing that Leanne and Larry want to see what's coming next, so let me show you some of the materials that are right here on the sidewalk, and you can maybe guess what's going to happen with all of that.
Animals' lives are their rights! Animal lives are their rights! We will not give up this fight! Animals' lives are their rights! Animals' lives are their rights!
To be honest with you, I don't know exactly what the plan is with that money and fake blood. I haven't been on the protest team in this chapter of DFC for a long time now. I used to be, but then I started focusing on communications, and I've been doing a lot of live streaming and stuff like that. So I don't do the organizing of the protest, but I'm excited, just like you are, to see what's coming next. So keep on watching, and maybe Jesse will come out and talk to us. I doubt it. It may not happen this time, but if we keep taking action, eventually we're going to get a response. And if we keep joining his live streams and doing public comment on the live streams and reaching out every which way that we can, just making ourselves heard, getting the animals' perspective out there, then eventually he won't be able to ignore us.
We are living through a climate crisis. Each year, thousands of species are going extinct. We are living in one of the largest extinction events in the history of the planet. And it's being driven by animal agriculture. The city of Berkeley is spending taxpayer dollars on an industry that is harming animals and threatening all life on this planet. We have 9 years left to stop irreparable damage to the climate. And we will not reach carbon neutrality without ending animal agriculture. It is ridiculous that our elected officials are ignoring both the science and the people, holding them accountable and demanding better from them. Animal agriculture is an inherently violent industry based upon exploiting and killing animals. And the money being spent on this industry is money that's dripping with the blood of sentient individuals. Jesse, it's time to divest from animal agriculture because it's not food, it's violence. It's not food.
It's violence.
It's not food.
It's violence.
It's not food.
It's violence.
It's not food.
It's violence.
It's not food.
It's violence.
It's not food.
It's violence.
Animals' lives are their right.
We will not give up this fight.
Animals' lives are their right.
We will not give up this fight.
Animals' lives are their right.
We will not give up this fight.
It's not food.
It's violence.
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 What do we want?
Animal liberation.
When do we want it?
No.
Are we going to fight for it?
Yes.
Are we going to get it?
Yes.
One struggle, one fight.
Human freedom, animal rights.
One struggle, one fight.
Human freedom, animal rights.
It's not food.
It's violence.
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 Animals' lives are their right.
We will not give up this fight.
Animals' lives are their right.
So I just heard some chanting. If you don't know our chants super well yet, there's one where they say, what do we want? And everyone responds, animal liberation, of course, among many other things. But, you know, animal liberation kind of encompasses a lot of those other things because we're all animals. And liberation is, you know, freedom from a lot of forms of injustice.
Are we going to fight
So
for
what
it?
do we want? Animal liberation. And then the chanter says, and when do we want it? And everyone says, now. But I actually just heard Omar saying, yesterday. And it made me laugh a little bit while I was going down the line because he was chanting yesterday. If anybody has any questions about the action or about the divestment campaign or what DXC has been up to, then please ask in the comments.
Several extremely important reasons why we need to divest away from animal agriculture and shift Berkeley city funds towards plant-based food. The first reason, as Matthew said, we're in a global crisis. We have California fires, and we have global warming and ice caps melting, and animal agriculture is one of the most significant contributors to global warming. According to a UN study in 2016, animal agriculture is a more significant contributor to global warming than industrial production sector and transportation sectors combined. Animal agriculture is a huge reason why we're in a global fire emergency. And we know that you care about people of Berkeley. We know that you used to be in the past an activist yourself. We know that you were fighting for immigrants' rights and you were working towards promoting farm workers' rights. We know that you want to help others. We know that you want to help people of Berkeley and people all over the country and make a positive global impact. So we're asking you, please join in our cause as well. You have supported animal rights as well in the past. You know that animals also deserve compassion. Animals deserve all of us to take bold action for them because they're also weak. You, Jesse, you know that cows and pigs are deserving of compassion as much as deserve cats and dogs. You have a kind heart, and we know that you will listen to your heart. You will connect with compassion in your heart going forward as you have in the past, and you will do what's right. Yes, we activists are a small percentage of people who are fighting for animal rights in the US, but we are on the right side of history. In the future, our struggle will be embraced by the mainstream. Only around 100 years ago, women were granted the right to vote. 200 years ago, it would be radical to support women's rights, such as the right to vote. And in the future, animal rights will also become embraced by mainstream. We're asking you, Jesse, please be on the right of history now. Please join our cause in making these bold shifts that might not seem popular today, but what other great leaders in the past, when they were standing up for rights of those who are weaker, they were not always popular, but they did what's right. How do you want to go down in history? Do you want to be a leader just like mayors of other cities? Or do you want to be a fighter for people and for animals who deserve real help? So please join us and please introduce the divestment initiative to Berkeley City Council. Please shift Berkeley city funds that go currently to purchase food from animal sources and shift those funds to purchase only plant-based food. And it seems like a small step. However, it is not as popular as was banning the sale of fur However, we need to take bolder actions now. In the future, in a couple decades, we want complete animal liberation, so we need to start taking very bold steps now. We need to set an example in Berkeley for the whole state of California. California legislators are looking to leaders like you on the local level to see what are you willing to do so that they can also feel empowered and emboldened to do what they know is right. We all want to save our planet. We all want to help animals. And we all want to prevent pandemics such as COVID and prevent future pandemics, be it from antibiotic resistant or worse cases of flu infections than we've had in the past. And I know that you care about people of Berkeley and protecting public health. And pandemics come mainly from animals. And as you know, COVID came from people consuming bats. And other diseases such as bird flu and swine flu come from people breeding and eating animals such as pigs and chickens. So we know that you want to also prevent future pandemics. And a very important step to doing that is to reduce the size of animal ag and eventually eliminate that destructive industry. So we're asking you, please do what in your heart you know is right and be the leader of Berkeley that people of Berkeley want. Somebody who truly cares about everyone who's weaker and everyone who genuinely needs help. We truly believe, Jesse, that you will help our cause and continue helping our cause the way you had supported Right to Rescue Animals in the past, and you had supported the ban on the sale of fur. Thank you so much for joining us in the past, and we hope that you will join this cause as well. And please divest Berkeley city funds that go towards animal-based food to plant-based food. Thank you so much.
That was Rasa Petroskaite, an amazing DXC activist, one of my good friends. I saw Madhu and Larry and other folks in the comments, Emick shouting out Rasa and saying, great, speak out. Rasa speaks very clearly and very compassionately, and she's a big advocate for nonviolent communication. So given the first half of this action and the humorous sort of more intense ways that we were pointing fun at Jesse's failures, we also want to point out that we have hope that he can embody the good values that he has in his heart, and we have that hope for everyone, for factory farmers, for slaughterhouse owners, for everyone who's caught up in this system of animal cruelty and other forms of injustice, that they might be perpetuating it right now, but everyone can change. You know, Almira Tanner, who, let me turn this around and show you, Almira, DXC's lead organizer, is doing some outreach right there with a neighbor. She's also got a camera in her hand because today she's also on video. She's incredible, right? If you know Almira, you know she's incredible. She steps up to help with whatever's needed, whether it's leafleting or videography or, you know, taking on the entire DXC network organization and structure and strategy. And Almira herself used to be a vivisector. She was going to school to become, you know, someone who could actually work in a human health area, and as part of that in school, even though she was a vegetarian, she ended up seeing that animal experimentation and animal surgeries were going to be part of her program, and she quit, and she turned her life around, and she became the movement of a global leader of I think I said a movement of a global leader, but I meant a leader of a global movement. And that's the kind of transformation that everyone can have, whether it's Jesse or, you know, any of these activists behind me protesting Jesse today, or anyone on live stream who's watching and thinking, all I'm going to do is share the live stream. Well, hey, that's great. If you share it, thank you so much. But, you know, if you're thinking that's all your role is in this movement, or you don't really consider yourself an activist, or you know, you're still caught up in the system of animal agriculture in some way or another, we all are. We all make mistakes, and we're all still complicit in so many systems of injustice. But we can also transform and see the power and the potential that we all have in our own hands. So anybody who is feeling inspired by this action, or who just, you know, recently has decided that for maybe your New Year's resolution, you want to step up and do more, please reach out to us, because DXC's role, Almira's role, my role is to inspire you. It's to try to get other people to join the movement and to build a strong empowered grassroots movement for animal liberation. We have a lot of goals, a lot of campaigns like divestment in Berkeley, but the goal that overrides all those things that gets us to the place where we can make those changes happen is empowering activists. So if you want to become an activist, or you are an activist and you want to get more training and you want to step up and do more for animals, please reach out. You can go to dxc.io/join. That's a form that we have that's available for folks just to let us know that you want to join the network, and we'll either help you find a chapter in your area, or I'm just going to step away because folks are just walking back to the debrief location. So if you want to get involved in the DXC network, go to dxc.io/join. Sign up, let us know you want to get involved, and we'll either connect you to a chapter that already exists or help you start a chapter if there isn't one in your area. And we can answer your questions and help you get plugged in. We have so many online events and trainings right now. This in-person protest is kind of a rarity. We're only doing a few in-person protests over the past few months, but we're doing lots of regular events. Our Saturday morning meetups, for example, we've been doing those every Saturday morning for 7 years now, and they have not stopped during the pandemic. They've just moved on to Zoom. And we have so many trainings going on, so many guest speakers, really insightful lecturers, and ways to learn more and educate yourself and get connected. Edie is saying, you said the website to join DXC. Well, it's dxc.io. That's our own short link that we have. So dxc.io/join. And that's a specific form where you can sign up and say you want to get involved in the DXC network if you're not already. So you can get plugged into a chapter near you, or you can start your own chapter. But that's one specific form and way to go about that. Let's see these other questions. Let me know if people have more questions. Cassie, you need to get your special advertisements onto mainstream TV. They are brilliant. Thank you so much, Ian. Yeah, I really enjoy doing the product review videos. I think, like today's action, it can be really helpful to bring some humor into a movement that has so much suffering in it and so much sadness, but there's also so much joy, and there's a lot of fun to be had in the activist community that I'm in, because we're always bouncing off ideas off each other and inspiring one another and making funny skits and scripts and stuff like that, and I will work on it. I will try to get my scripts into mainstream TV some way or another, get them in the press somehow. Thanks, Emic, for commenting, dxc.io/join. Thank you, Pauline, for watching from England. Thank you, everybody who's watching and sharing and supporting. And Stephen commented that link as well. Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to get involved. Check out our website, too, and you can read the blogs. You can watch the videos on Facebook. We're on TikTok now, folks. We've made it. 10,000 followers on TikTok. It's happening. Thanks to Curtis. Woo, Curtis, for helping us there. We're just trying to innovate all the time, and we would love to have your support. And honestly, if you have an idea that you want to make happen in Berkeley or your city or in the DXC movement or on social media, if you have an idea and you want to make it happen, we're here to give you resources and help you do that. We want to, give you some trainings. We want to give you a platform. We want to help make your vision of animal liberation happen and empower you as an activist to go make it happen. Because we have everything on our side. We have the truth on our side. We have that. That's huge. The thing that we really need is more people. When more people take action, then we're going to win. So if you want to take action, then go to dxc.io/join. And here's an action you can do right now. Share the live stream. Jacqueline's saying hello from Mississippi. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Edie is showing a lot of support. Antonio is thinking that we're just motivating world hunger. Not totally sure where that's coming from, but thank you for sharing your thoughts, Antonio, and thank you for watching and commenting and boosting the algorithm. Thank you, Pauline. You're amazing too. Everybody who's supporting is so amazing. I'm not seeing any more questions, so I'm going to end the live stream and head back to the debrief. Thank you so much for watching with me. I feel like I just got to spend time with some of my friends in LA and Mississippi and Canada and other places, so it was a lot of fun. And stay tuned, because we are going to divest city funds from animal agriculture in Berkeley, and then Oakland and every other city in California, and then the world. Bye, everybody.